Windows Security is a tool included with Windows to help protect against all sorts of threats like viruses, malware, and ransomware. It provides real-time protection, meaning that it constantly looks for and stops infection attempts by security threats, and also scans files on your hard drive to find infections that may already exist. Windows Defender has been around for several versions of Windows, however, it is now joined into one thing called Windows Security. Let's go ahead and open up Windows Security. You can either search for it in the Start menu and type Windows Security, or you can access it by the icon in the lower right taskbar. Generally, a green checkbox on the shield is a good thing. Let's click it. From here, we're able to manage all aspects of security for the system. The first thing that catches your eye is the current threats area. This will tell you the last scan that has occurred, if any threats were found, and other details related to the scan. If we were worried about a possible infection, we could run a quick scan. This generally grabs the common areas where infections come from, such as the user's download folder. In our scan options, this could allow us to run more aggressive scans such as a full, or even hone in on one specific folder with a custom. If we were to select custom, it would then prompt for the folder location you would like to scan. I could then pick my documents folder or even the downloads folder. The allowed threat shows any previous files that have been marked as a threat but were allowed by the user. Sometimes applications and/or files can get marked as malicious when they are not. This can be a fine line, so it is good to do some research on the file before allowing it. Protection history will give us an overview of actions that occurred to protect your machine. As we go back, one thing I always like to do is make sure the system has the latest protection updates. If he was to click protection updates, you can manually trigger it. However, it should go out and grab these updates periodically with Windows updates. In our settings here, we're able to see what type of protection is being done with Windows Security. Microsoft does try to help you out by giving descriptions of each task that is turned on, such as real-time protection. It is best practice to leave these all on. You can also tell Windows Security places where you don't want to be scanned or individual files to ignore. This is what the exclusions is for. After clicking Add or Remove Exclusions and clicking Yes to the UAC prompt, we're able to add our exclusions. It does give us several options such as a file, folder, file type, or process. For now, we're just going to use a folder. Let's say I have a folder on my C drive named Software. This folder, for demo purposes, has software that always gets flagged by antivirus, but it really isn't a virus. Typically, the less exclusions, the better, because that just allows threats to live in an area that isn't scanned. Ransomware has been in the news everywhere, and if you haven't heard about it, I would suggest you do some light reading on it. Essentially, hackers hold your data hostage for a sum of money. It has even come to the point where they force you to pay them, otherwise then they would release your data to the public. Although this might not be a big deal for a home user, but for the impact on a business it's huge. Ransomware can spread like wildfire. So with that being said, Microsoft incorporates some protection to help aid in this. If you want to turn this on and say yes to the UAC prompt, it would require some fine line tuning so that a user such as yourself won't be frustrated. The protected folders are just some default folders it automatically grabs. You can have the ability to add more folders if you'd like. The big ticket items is in here, allowing an app through the controlled folder access. So for example, if it was creating an audio file with Audacity, it needs permissions to write to my music folder. So let's set that up. It's best to grab the executable, and those will either be in the program files or program files x86, depending on if the application is 64-bit or 32-bit. So now that I have added this, the executable now has the proper permission to write to the user folders. I hope you enjoyed learning with me today. Stay tuned, as this is part 1 of Windows Security. On part 2, we're going to follow up with some other settings in here, such as firewall rules.